this episode, we're going to explore why even successful massage therapists can hit an income ceiling and the uncomfortable truth about what it really takes to break through it. Welcome to The Conscious Practitioner, the podcast helping massage therapists align with purpose, create deeper client transformation, and evolve your practice even if you feel stuck. I'm your host, Dr. Jess, and each week we address your biggest practice challenges, from burnout to boundaries and everything in between. Together, we uncover the inner blind spots behind these outer struggles that, when mastered, transform you from a skilled practitioner to a truly impactful one. In today's episode, you'll discover why traditional approaches to raising your rates often feel misaligned even when you know you're worth more, the hidden connection between your income ceiling and your deeper purpose, and how to charge premium rates while staying true to your values. So with that, let's jump in. Alright, so you've got a steady practice. Your schedule is as full as you want it to be. You're making pretty decent money. So by most standards, you're successful. And yet, there's this nagging feeling that you've hit a ceiling. You see other practitioners charging way more than you do, and logically, you know your skills match or exceed theirs, but something's holding you back from making the leap. By the end of this episode, you're not only going to understand exactly what it is that's been holding you back from charging premium rates, but you'll have a very clear path to increasing your income while staying completely aligned with your values. And I promise it's not about more certifications or working harder, taking on more clients. It's about something far more fundamental that most practitioners completely miss. When you look at practitioners charging premium rates, what's the first feeling that comes up for you? I really want you to sit with this question for a moment. What's the feeling, the emotional tone, not the thoughts necessarily? What's going on in the body? Put a pin in that feeling because we're going to come back to it. Now, I remember sitting at my office one day, this is quite a few years ago, looking at my rates. Rates that I knew were good by industry standards, but I kept feeling this deep disconnect. I had colleagues charging significantly more, and while part of me knew I was equally as skilled, something held me back from making that leap, from charging higher prices. There was this feeling, and for me, it was somewhere in my throat area, and this feeling was a very clear no, don't do it. Now, it wasn't about the mechanics or the logistics of raising my rates. It's relatively simple. It was about something deeper. Before we go further, I want you to pause for a moment. If you're not driving, close your eyes. Think about the last time you considered raising your rates. Again, what emotions came up? Not the practical considerations, the emotional ones, the feelings in the body. Here's what most successful massage therapists don't really talk about. When we hit our income ceiling, it's rarely about our skills or even the market. It tends to be about our relationship with value itself. I want to share something with you that I call the 3 circles of value. All right, picture this. There are 3 concentric circles. The outer circle, that's your technical skill. Right? This is our modalities, our techniques, our training. This is the thing that most continuing education workshops are selling you. More technique, more skills. Important, no question. That's just the outer circle. Now, the middle circle, this is our developed wisdom, our experience, our intuition, our understanding of the body. This is the skill that you develop from being a practitioner, having hands-on experience over years. But it's the inner circle that's most crucial, our transformational purpose, or another way of saying it is our why, our big why. Most of us focus entirely on the outer circles. We keep adding certifications, more and more wall candy, perfecting techniques, gaining experience. Important stuff. But here's the uncomfortable truth. You can stack certificates to the ceiling. But the real gap in your income isn't about what you know. It's about fully owning who you are and what you truly offer. Until you align with that deeper truth, you're always going to end up questioning your worth. Now, for myself, I discovered this the hard way, as I tend to have a habit of doing. I had built what looked like the perfect practice on paper. I had all sorts of advanced certifications, multiple modalities. I mean, I had damn near the full alphabet behind my name. And consistent client results that really ended up speaking for themselves. I was even getting referrals from physicians and doctors because my outcomes were really that good. I used to joke that I should have a sign above my clinic door that says, "You're my last hope. I've tried everything else." Now, I say all of this not to brag, but because it's important to the story. Again, everything was perfect on paper. But every single time I looked at raising my rates that my results absolutely justified, I felt resistance. Not because I doubted my skill, but because something felt off with it and I couldn't put my finger on what it was. I kept thinking if I just got one more certification, if I mastered one more technique, if I had one more success story, then I'd feel worthy of charging premium rates. Here's what I finally realized after a lot of inner work and self awareness. I was hiding behind my skills and certifications because I wasn't fully owning who I was and what I truly offered. You see, I wasn't just doing bodywork, I was creating a transformational space. But I was so focused on proving my worth through external validation that I couldn't see or own the true value I was really bringing. My resistance to raising my rates had nothing to do with my abilities and everything to do with not fully stepping into and owning my own true gifts. And I'm sure some of you are thinking the exact same thing I did. You might be thinking, I've already got a ton of certifications and I get great results. And you're absolutely right. I'm sure you do. But again, this isn't about your skills or your results. You've already proven those. It's about stepping out from behind those credentials and fully owning the transformation you create. It's about realizing that all those certifications and techniques are just tools. Powerful tools and important tools, but just tools. They're the tools that support the real magic, the unique healing container that only you can create. So when you think about making more money in your practice, what's the feeling you're actually chasing? Is it really about income? Or is it about finally allowing yourself to be seen for who you truly are, for the practitioner you truly are? Now, here's what happens when you align your rates with true transformational purpose, when you align your rates with your why. The conversation shifts from, can I charge this? To, how can I serve at this level? The second is, we stop comparing our rates to market averages and start pricing based on the transformation we offer. And third is, the resistance to charging more naturally dissolves because we're fully expressed in our work. Now, let's address something that may be weighing on your mind. You might be thinking, if I raise my rates, doesn't that make my work inaccessible for the people who need it most? Now, this is a very valid concern. Many of us became massage therapists and practitioners because we believe in healing and we want to help as many people as possible. And the thought of someone not being able to afford our services can feel like a betrayal of a core value. But here's something important to consider. The wellness field, it's super dynamic, with practitioners at every single stage of their journey. There will always be newer therapists who are offering lower rates as they gain experience and build their practice to get to the point where you are now. And these practitioners, they play a very vital role in our ecosystem. They provide services to clients who may not yet be ready to invest at a higher level. By charging rates that reflect the depth of the transformation that you create, you're not closing the door on accessibility. You're stepping into your unique role in this ecosystem. You're serving clients who are ready for deeper work and who value the investment in themselves and their journey. Now, with that said, if maintaining accessibility is important to you, then there are beautiful ways to balance this. You could consider offering a sliding scale or maybe some sort of scholarship option for a small percentage of your practice. And this allows you to intentionally create space for those who might not otherwise afford your service while still honoring your financial and your energetic needs. So here's a reframe to think about. When you align your rates with your value, you create financial and emotional bandwidth to give in a new and meaningful way. Whether that's through the sliding scale, community workshops, or pro bono work, if it feels aligned, that's the best way forward. What if raising your rates wasn't about excluding anyone, but about stepping more fully into the practitioner that you're meant to be and creating space to serve at your highest level? All right, so let me share an example. There's a practitioner in our community. We're going to call her Marie for the sake of the conversation. And she'd been charging standard rates for years. And she was really good at what she did. She had a very loyal client base, but she felt stuck. So during our work together, she started describing her practice to me. And that's when everything started to shift. Now, she told me about how she'd spend extra time before each and every session, carefully preparing the space, setting the perfect temperature, choosing specific aromatherapy blends for each client, playing curated music to match their energy. She described how she'd intuitively adjust her pressure and techniques based not just on what the body was telling her, but the things that weren't being said. Again, going into that intuition thing. She discussed how she would create a safe container that clients would often release emotional tension that they've been holding on for years in some cases, and they'd even cry on her table. Now, some of these things might not sound that unusual, but she really told me how she would hold space for people to do that. Now, when we talked about this, she said something really interesting. She said, "But isn't this just what a good massage looks like?" Now, I consider myself something of a connoisseur of massage. I have been to countless massage therapists. Some people tour wineries, some people collect antiques. I get massages. So I told her with absolute confidence, nope, that is way above and beyond a good massage. This is more than just standard. And on top of that, she would do a whole bunch of other little things to pay super close attention to what her clients needed to turn it from just a massage to an experience. So when we had this conversation, that's when it really hit her. She wasn't just providing a massage, she was creating a sanctuary for deep healing. Everything from her careful preparation to her intuitive adjustments to her ability to hold space for emotional release, these weren't extras. They were essential parts of the transformational container that she created. And that's when our conversation about money got really interesting. When she truly saw the depth of what she was offering, she began to see her pricing in a completely new light. Now, this next part might sound a little bit woo woo to some of you, but stay with me here. She began to see money as what it truly is, and that is an exchange of energy. She was putting in massive amounts of energy on multiple levels: physical energy in the bodywork itself, emotional energy in holding space, intuitive energy in reading what each client really needed, and even spiritual energy that created this container for transformation. So raising her rates wasn't about making more money. It was about creating an energetic balance, about honoring the true depth of what she offered. It was about allowing her clients to match the energy she was putting into each session with their own energy in the form of an investment. Now, there's a really interesting principle in social psychology called the law of reciprocity. And basically, what it says is humans are unbelievably adept at keeping track of how much is given and taken in any relationship. And the moment it starts to feel uneven, like either they're receiving too much or giving too much, it creates a weird dynamic. And this was indeed the case and is oftentimes the case when we undercharge for our services. Now Marie charges premium rates that reflect the full value of the healing experience that she creates. And it is just that, an experience. She works with fewer clients and feels completely aligned with her work. And here's the beautiful part: her clients were actually relieved when she raised her rates. It gave them permission to fully value the transformational work that they were already experiencing. Now, I don't want to go way down the rabbit hole of perceived value and how charging more for a session actually genuinely helps people get more out of the session. But it is important to understand that when you raise your rates, it's going to be reflective in your client experiences. They will tend to value the experience even more. Now, some of you might be feeling a bit of resistance rise up. Maybe you're feeling like your clients won't pay more, or maybe you seem like you'll come across as a little bit greedy. Or maybe you're thinking, what makes me different enough to charge premium rates? And these are all valid fears and concerns, but here's what I want you to consider. What if your desire to break through this income ceiling is actually calling you to step more fully into your unique gifts? What if this desire to raise your rates is this acknowledgement, both in yourself and your clients and the energy that's between you, that there's an imbalance in the exchange somewhere? What if doing this allows you to really step into embodying the practitioner that you know you are and can become? So here are 3 practical steps that you can take with you this week. Number 1, identify your why, your transformational purpose, if you will. This is beyond just the physical work. What deeper change do you facilitate? Number 2, document client transformations. What shifts are they experiencing that go beyond physical relief? And 3, examine your resistance. Spend a bit of time doing some inner work. Where do you feel misalignment between your rates and your value? So with that, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. Before you go, here are 3 key highlights from this conversation and a curiosity to take with you. The income ceiling that you're hitting might actually be a purpose ceiling in disguise. True financial abundance comes from aligning your external offerings with your internal purpose, and your desire to make more money might be pointing you towards your unique transformational gifts. And the question to ponder on top of the 3 I've already given you is, what would become possible in your practice if you stopped trying to make money and started focusing on making more meaning? Now, if these insights resonated with you, be sure to follow and subscribe to The Conscious Practitioner wherever you get your podcasts. You'll get weekly guidance on bridging the gap between traditional bodywork and transformational healing. Thank you again for listening to The Conscious Practitioner. Until next time, be well, my friend.